Greetings on this Saturn day. I was just wrapping up my Saturn meditation, of course, with my pinnacle here. The Saturn pinnacle, first pinnacle. I have my lead. Sometimes I use obsidian. I have my herbs out. Today I have grains of paradise, the black candle, spring water, and myrrh. Myrrh is a earthy herb. The purpose of the water is balance. Anytime you do any type of ritual work, you want to balance it out. If you're working with earth, you don't want it to be too earthy. The energy can get really heavy. So you have to balance it out with other elements. Okay. Um, but I want to briefly just talk about the origins of Saturn worship. As you can see, you can tell I work with Saturn a lot, and it's because that I don't know if because I'm a Capricorn, I'm an Earth sign, or maybe it has something to do with my ancestral lineage. Um, but the Saturn energy is one of those major benefactor energies in the universe, or in our solar system as well. Uh, but I was having a discussion with my friend the other day, and we were talking about how, who came up with the zodiac signs. Where did they come from? Okay, put a lot of emphasis on them. How do we know about planetary magic? Who taught the generation before them, the generation before them? Where does this Saturn worship comes from? And I told them, hey, this is not pseudoscience. It's not by coincidence. The deeper you dig into it, the more you find out, and it can be really fascinating. Um, I'll give you a perfect example. All right, so let's see. You know the planet Saturn, right? It has rings around it. Well, let me back up. Let's use the Star of David, for example. If you look at the Star of David closely, you can see two things, or at least I see two things. Um, First of all, you see two triangles, one pointing up and one pointing down, symbolizing a feminine and masculine aspect. As above, so below. Okay? Now, the next thing that you can see, let me grab something, try to get what's something else? Here it is. All right, this will work. If you look closely, and I got a black cube. Let's grab something here. If you look closely at this cube here, I don't know if it's a perfect cube. There we go, right there. You could see a hexagon, right? Remember that. Now, the sixth star of David, if you angle it just right, or if you angle that cube just right, you can see the 6 points. So what does this have to do with what I'm saying? The planet Saturn, and you can check this out, do your own research. There's a hexagon, a huge hexagon on the planet Saturn. I think it's nearly the size of Earth, or half the size of Earth, or something like that. And that's either a weather phenomenon or it's geological. Yes, there is a hexagon on Saturn. And I've known about that since middle school. I've been fascinated about that. The pyramids and the faces on Mars. I used to look that stuff up, but I'm surprised a lot of people do not know about that. There's a hexagon on Saturn, a 6-pointed hexagon. And that hexagon right there represents that cube, or vice versa. Remember, I turned it to an angle, you can see a 6-pointed outline. Okay. So what does that have to do with the Star of David? Once again, those 6-pointed sides. Okay? As above, so below. And that's what Saturn is about. Saturn is about manifestation from spirit. That's one of the aspects of it, from spirit to material realm. Okay, so where did they? The origins of the Star of David is very old. Where did they get it from? And also, while I'm mentioning that, I think now that I think about it, like I said, when you meditate, things come to you. Look at this. See the black cube? I think it's in Mecca. Okay, look at the black cube. Look at the hexagon. Okay, black cube in Mecca, in the Islamic religion, where they make the visit, their holy visit. See, it's all connected. The hexagon on Saturn, black cube, Star of David, and there's others. If you look closely, some of these companies today, they use a black cube. Or like a 6-pointed hexagon. It means something. It's not coincidence. It's all connected. And it all originated from Saturn. Saturn worship. Saturn was one of the main planets worshipped in the ancient world. Okay? So where did it come from? Well, who taught them? Well, of course, we got it from it corresponds to the Romans with their gods. They have their own planets. Saturn, gosh, I forgot the name. I forgot the name. I cannot pronounce it. But Saturnina, the pagan god Pan. Then back to the Greeks. Where did the Greeks get it from? The Greeks got it from the ancient Kemites. Where did the ancient Kemites get it from? They got it from the ancient mystery schools. Well, how did they get the information? Where did they get that knowledge from? Okay. If you look at the pyramid is not a tomb. The pyramid is a stargate. And they use it to transmit their consciousness, to both transmit and receive consciousness throughout the universe. So, who taught them? It was higher dimensional beings that taught them about planetary magic. How did they know about the zodiac? The oldest zodiac is found in the pyramids. Did they have telescopes? Did they have the technology? Yeah, they may have technology, but based on everything that I can discern, they were taught or they learned by transmitting their consciousness. They didn't have telescopes back then. They transmitted their consciousness throughout the universe and the solar system. Now, as I said, the Stargate works two ways. It goes transmit their consciousness into the universe so they can learn. And then there was higher dimensional beings coming through that Stargate and teaching them. Kind of goes back to the Bible. When it talks about when the angels fell and it taught man how to use fire and earth and technology. This knowledge is from a different part of the universe, and it was been passed down to generation to generation. And so when these beings came and taught them, they saw that they had a higher power, and they began to worship them, and they worshiped their knowledge. So those are the origins of Saturn worship and other planetary magic. You see, I was looking at a documentary the other day, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind by Dr. Peter Green. Take a look at it if you get a chance. And he was basically explaining UFOs and extraterrestrial beings. And he was saying a lot of these UFO sightings and aliens that we see are basically beings, crossing dimensions and revealing themselves. I kind of believe it's 50-50 though. I kind of discern it's 50-50. I believe it's actual corporeal beings. And then you have interdimensional beings revealing themselves. And then people, when we see them, we classify them as angels or demons. You see? But it's all one. We're all from the same, and we're going back to the all. From the all, and we're going back to the all. But in regards to Saturn worship, um, I don't believe in worship anything. I don't worship anything. If I'm going to worship anything, I will worship myself, because we are the universe in human form. But I use that term worship as a point of reference that you can understand. Once again, it goes back to using this energy to manifest for your benefit. You see? So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I can only tell you what I do, and that is I do not worship because I understand the knowledge and the origins behind it. Now, the planets, when they align right, certain dimensional portals open. Like, for example, today, it's a Saturn day, during the Saturn hour, which is at sunrise. The Saturn energy is high. It invokes my chakras. It invokes me something in me psychologically. And I can communicate with that Saturn energy as well as you. And then through meditation, it invokes a certain energy in you. And that energy is used to manifest. So for me, it's not about worship. Even though I use that in the title, it's not about worship because I understand the origins of planetary magic. And you are the universe. You're the universe in human form. So, worship is, and don't get me wrong, I was once Christian. I grew up Christian, and there was a lot of worship in it. And it was very taxing, very vexing. But worship is for religion to me. That's my perspective. You see? But use this energy to your advantage. Know that you are a part of it, as well as other planetary magics and rituals. The best thing to do, I would recommend, is know whatever your zodiac sign is, whether you're earth, water, air, or sun sign or fire sign, is to begin there. I started with Saturn, the Saturn pinnacle, because Saturn is my ruling planet as a Capricorn. You may be a Leo. You may want to start to do rituals on Sunday during sunrise and the sun hour. And you'll notice that you'll have an affinity for that particular energy. If you're a water sign, you might want to start on Mondays, 7 p.m., 2 p.m., or 9 p.m. During the day of that particular planet, the day planet, it has there's three times during that day when the energy is high. Sunrise around 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. wherever you're at. Okay, which brings me to another thing. Who made these days? Why is Monday Moon? Why is Tuesday Mars? Why is Wednesday Mercury? Who taught them that? Once again, it goes back to higher dimensional beings, or in the case of Tehuti, which I believe was an Atlantean, and they initiated, I'm not going to say they initiated civilization, but I will say that they upgraded civilization throughout the four corners of the world. And with them, they brought that knowledge of the universe. And it's been passed down generation to generation. You see? At some point, and I'm going to close out with this, when the planets align right, and I was just speaking to you about portals, and we having access to energies and interdimensional beings, When they align right, we have that access. Now, planets are always moving. The Earth spans on an axis of 24 hours. Each hour has a certain zodiac sign as it spins on its axis. Okay, it's called the rising and the ascendant. And then, of course, we go we go around the sun. We go through the 30-day cycle. So there's cycles upon cycles upon cycles. So when the planets align right, and that energy comes down to our consciousness, and we're just coming out of a lower vibrational consciousness, and we're going into a higher vibrational consciousness. Guess what happens to us, and what's happening here? The technology on this planet rises with our consciousness. You see? And we stepped into the age of Aquarius probably about, and I'm guesstimating, probably about 20 or 10 years ago. We're coming out of Pisces. And there's another cycle going on, which is raising our consciousness. Okay? We're going in, I think we're coming out of the Bronze Age, and we're going into the Golden Age. I'll give you a perfect example. Gabon, Africa. Gabon, Africa, I think it's a 2 billion or 1 billion old nuclear reactor was found. Okay? 2 billion years old or a billion years old. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking, well, that's just a natural rock formation. If you know anything about nuclear reactors, you know that the conditions have to be perfect. They use water. The water that they use in nuclear reactors has to be perfectly distilled. It has to be, nothing could be in it. How is that? That's because we go through cycles. The previous civilization, which was billions of years ago, and don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted, we are not the first advanced civilization on this planet. This planet goes through cycles. And these cycles are based on the timing of the planets and their alignment. When the consciousness is right, aligned right to go higher for the planets, our consciousness raised along, and we raise our technology. So billions of years ago, there was a much higher technology, civilization. That nuclear reactor in Gabon, Africa, is a testament of that. And to give you an idea of how advanced it was, how advanced it is, it's still radiating energy. But that energy, unlike the radiation energy that our nuclear reactors make today, that energy is not harmful. It doesn't cause sickness. It doesn't mutate your genes or nothing like that. Now, how advanced is that? And it's still sending energy billions of years later. The planets, people. The planets. Watch the planets. They will reveal mysteries and secrets to you. And when the timing is right, you can elevate your consciousness. Okay? So, and that's one of the reasons for planetary worship. And once again, I'm just using it as a point of reference. I don't believe in worship. But in our case, using planetary magic to your advantage. Okay? It's time. It's time to empower the people. We've stepped into the age of Aquarius. The powers that be are losing control, and they know it. They feel this Aquarian energy kicking in, which empowers the people. Enlightenment, knowledge, innovation, humanity, truth, and justice. They can't discern what it is. They just feel like they're losing control. And they're trying to keep control. Particularly through this primitive technology that we're using. So it's time. Take your power back. Find out what you're working with, or your earth sign, water sign, fire sign, air sign. Find out what you're working with. Start there. Align yourself. Open those portals. It's time. Okay, fam. Ujad Sinab.